But again, an injured animal is the most dangerous, the most dangerous animals. I think it's also a good time to really dive into Tiger Wong's jungler, right? Gugun Seishiro, one of his top picks is that Fredrin, and Fredrin has now taken a hit thanks to the latest patch. I wonder how is it going to affect Tiger Wong in this first phase draft?
I think when it comes to preference between the junglers, right, we did a head-to-head between Kelvin as well as Gugun Seishiro. Gugun Seishiro is more about the zoning factor, and zoning characters require tankability, or in this case durability. You don't really need a lot of damage here. Fredrin still has the tankability, but in terms of damage output wise, it is a little bit weak. So I don't think it's a big problem for Gugun to actually adapt in the current meta with the Fredrin. But for MHRLK, for them to play it, I don't think the Fredrin suits them, just because of how Kelvin likes to play a little bit more nimble to bait out spells and force fights. And Fredrin not necessarily does that really well compared to any other heroes. And you can see even his comfort heroes as well, it is going to be Kakai. It is also going to be sorry, it's not the Akai. It is going to be, I think, Hayabusa as well, if I'm not mistaken.
The Martis Link, I think. Karina.
Yeah, it was a Link Karina. Yeah, so it's all about baiting and all mechanical skills. So MHRLK leans on their mechanical powers, whereas Tiger Wong leans on a safer play.
I think this first phase ban is going to be very, very interesting because we've seen Joy getting let through last week, and I am looking forward to see if teams are more comfortable letting that through. But Tiger Wong, we've seen them play a lot of that Kaja for Dali Durido. Sometimes he pivots towards the Kufra if needed. So there are choices for Romans for Tiger Wong Esports. But for MHRLK, they decide to just get rid of the glue first. It's one of the most picked heroes in the tournament so far, and they don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, Tiger Wong Esports, they're banning the Eve is pretty much a standard play for them, right? And at the same time, one of the biggest counters that we have seen in SPS is that Eve is used to kind of slow and put Fredrin in a very, very awkward position, slowing them down, not allowing Fredrin to do its own thing. So Eve is a way that they don't really want to deal with, so they are definitely going to be leaning on the Fredrin pickup. However, I'm curious here, will MHRLK prioritize that? Because that's something that I think they're not really comfortable playing too much, especially for Kelvin.
Yeah, and at the same time, if they have the first pick, Martis has been a very good first pick material for some of these teams. So I think MHRLK would feel fine giving that Fredrin away. But that also gives Tiger Wong Esports a bit more of the breathing room, right? You get that 2 picks as a response. MHRLK banning out the Kadita as well. So if anything, this could tell us that they want to go with what we've seen so far, the comfortable picks of having Kelvin in the front line and allowing CY to be uninterrupted when these fights break out.
Now, question here is, Kaja, is it going to be banned from the side Tiger Wong Esports, or will they even let off the potential 1-1, even though it has been nerfed, forcing 1-1 to be in a state where it's forced to play shoes instead of non-shoe builds back in the days. I feel like 1-1 is still extremely annoying to deal with, but seems like they are not going to take a risk. They are going to ban the R-Lord, leaving the Kaja up for grabs. So MHRLK, do they prioritize that Kaja pickup, or are they going to prioritize denying the Fredrin pickup, which is something that I think either or Tiger Wong Esports are going to be okay with either the Martis or even the Fredrin.
And I guess if you take the Martis, even if you give away Fredrin and Kaja, you are fine, because Martis is so hard to control, and you also make Tiger Wong review kind of both Daddy Duedo and Gugun's pick, right? I honestly am looking forward to see if MHRLK would just stick to that Martis, or if they take that Fredrin away, you do open up more options for Tiger Wong also.
Yeah.
I don't know, I do prefer the Martis pick overall.
Yeah, Fanny is also going to be out for grabs as well, which is something that a lot of people don't really know about. MHRLK going to be prioritizing Faramis. Interesting fun fact for you guys as well. In this current patch, Faramis is actually a good counter against mark type heroes. So any type of heroes with marking ability, such as Arlot's skill, is not going to connect. That's a little bit of a bug that has been announced as well. That's why it has been banned in certain tournaments after this recent patch. So I think MHRLK, they're going to take advantage of the Faramis pickup, and Tiger Wings was, thankfully enough, not having the Arlot means they don't need to worry about that too much, I guess.
Yeah, they have the Melissa as the opener. We don't see this often from most teams, getting that gold lane picked up, and they even revealed that Farsa. So this is a very different approach from Tiger Wong.
Yeah, I guess Tiger Wong is they need a way to actually deal with Faramis, right? So opening up with these 2 heroes is just a little bit better, considering that once the card altar drops, we have solutions on dealing with it as well. Yuzhong is also a type of hero that can actually deal a lot of damage when it comes to shredding the Count Alta, right? So Tiger Wong Esports might be using that for the XP later, but they still need some sort of strong frontliners. I like that MHRLK Esports, they're bringing in the Lancelot. This is where things get a little bit interesting. They are going to go for this kind of execution playstyle. Tanks a lot from MHRLK. Not many teams are very comfortable with that, but they do show the Kaja. So there is a lot of pickup potential, push and pull effect coming from MHRLK Esports.
And that is right after a Lancelot pick, so you lock out Tiger Wong Esports having that kidnapper potential with the Kaja as well. We've discussed about the interaction between having a Faramis and having an assassin that wants to dive the backline. It feels counterintuitive, but in this case, when you have a Kaja to use the Divine Judgment on a target, it does give it does take away that concern of whether the Faramis has to dive deep. And finally, we see the Fredrin getting picked up by Tiger Wong.
I was hoping that Tiger Wong would be opening up the Fanny later on, but playing in the Fredrin here is going to be a safe pick coming from them. Both pretty much mirrored their hand. MHRLK shown their Roma so far, and Tiger Wong was still keeping it open for themselves. But the question is, do they have what it takes to actually shut them down? Or do they double down on just completely shutting down the Count Altar? Because right now, Forza Melissa is great at dealing with into the early game and the late game, but what about the mid game? Mid-game is something that I think only Farsa is available, but you don't necessarily want to just pop all your Feather Airstrike just to clear the Count Altar and not get any value of it. And while that is actually happening, you have a Lancelot where you don't really have a lot of locking capabilities to shut him down. Like, Melissa can protect himself, but you need something to actually catch him off guard. So that is where I think Yuzhong is great for double downing for the Count Altar, but they still need an answer to deal with this Lancelot.
Yeah, and the Yuzhong is still up on the table for Tiger Wong. And even to a certain extent, you can say that there is a flex potential for this Fredrin. I was actually looking at the Kufra for Daddy Do but MHRLK did their homework, so the Kufra ban comes out instantly. You remove another threat to stop this Lancelot. I guess if Tiger Wong still wants to go for a lockdown, then maybe you're looking at something like a Franco to do the job.
Yeah, it might be the case as well. Ruby also going to be banned. Two very, very great heroes to actually mirror what MHRLK is trying to do in terms of the catch potential. Yuzhong also being nerfed means that Tiger Wong Esports is in a very particular slot. However, Edith completely ignored by both sides in the XP lane matchup. But Tiger Wong, instead of going for the Yuzhong, they are going to bring the Lapu to double down to deal with the Count Altar. But the question still remains, how will they deal with a Tanksalot?
And Beatrix comes through for MHRLK. I've seen this so many times in the matches that they played. So it's no surprise that CY is just going to be given a Beatrix, and we get the Grok as the final pick for MHRLK as well. Very common, just front to back comp MHRLK very comfortable with, and the Franco that we wanted to see from Tiger Wong comes out.
You called it as well, coming in for the Franco. I was expecting maybe Daddy Do is going to go for the Grok pickup for Tiger Wong Esports, but MHRLK just completely denying it. So this is going to be an XP Grok coming from MHRLK. They have a balance of damage and magical prowess coming from MHRLK, and I'm liking this, to be honest, coming from MHRLK's draft, but my faith is on Daddy Do to actually get those clean hooks here. So overall, two very, very unique drafts, two very, very clear win conditions, both looking for pickoffs, isolation, and wombo combos, but Tiger Wong looking to play the late game.
I think there's definitely going to be a lot of that burden on Rexley with this Lapu. How do you get behind, get to CY, and not having to deal with a Count Altar? There's a lot of layers that Tiger Wong Esports needs to peel through when dealing with MHRLK. But as it stands, they've always played a full best of 3. This is the one they really want to pull to that full series. In game number 1 in this lower bracket. Again, Indo against Philippines. So far, Indonesia is in the lead. All 5 teams still remaining.
Yep, this is going to be an interesting one to see how things go down. This is game 1 between both of these teams, and so far the head-to-head here, both the junglers are going to be doing pretty okay as well, and we are going to be expecting potentially a tank slot coming in from MHRLK Esports, and as of yet, he is going to be getting a little bit of slow in terms of farm here. We don't see a lot of aggression to try and punish this, but they are going to try and contest the first little Wanderer. It is going to be in the hands of the MHRLK Esports, and Rexy now in trouble.
And the wall just clips him right on the edge. And that is definitely sad news for Rexley. You don't want to kind of give that first bullet away. And that one goes to his lane opponent as well, right? Grok getting that extra cash in NIS showing down bot, really trying to put a bit of pressure onto Saffril, give CY some more room to breathe. They bring in Daiso as well, and Tiger Wong just could not respond.
Yeah, this is tough considering that Tiger Wong, they had a little bit of upper hand, but they overzealous their aggression to try and contest, maybe trade a couple of kills, but at that expense they lose Rexley, which is pretty much one of very, very important XP laners, especially against a Grok who arguably early game isn't strong enough to fight against Grok, but as soon as he said it, he trades a kill up top. What?
Wait, Rexley is full health.
What?
What happened?
Oh no!
Yeah, I think CJ just ran it into the turret. So I guess we found that neutralizing factor. All things considered, CJ went down under the turret, still leading in terms of XP. But hey, I mean, it's it's one of those starts.
It's one of those days where we make a prediction, right? And like I know Tiger Wong was losing a little bit, but
right.
Up there, they just want me to see me win a
Right.
prediction against you and
Right,
give
right.
a little bit of hope for Rexley, even though Rexley should not have gotten that 1v1 on top, and he's still full health. So
I mean, it's a neutralizer.
you hate to see it.
You hate to see it, especially when we saw, we saw the Grok getting that lead, first blood cashing in also. Either way, at least it is that kind of early game phase, right? So worst case scenario, we're back to square one, both teams having no net worth differential, but we can see the focus from MHRLK, really trying to put prioritization on CY.
Yeah, there is a lot of focus on towards the bottom gold lane, right? So the problem here is now we just come to the stage where there are some teams that prioritize on playing the side lanes more compared to mid control, especially pre-4 first objective, right? Just because of how if you get a kill on side lanes, you pretty much guarantee yourself an early pre-4 during the first engagement in total. And sometimes there are teams that play, I think recently there has been an analysis for Blacklist International where they actually played the mage starting lane matchup for the XP lane, try to zone out the XP lane or maybe even get a kill, and when that time happens and if they get an early 4 before their opponent's XP lane, they are going to get the first jump to engage and possibly chip away and get a couple kills for the first total fight. So it's the same to be said on gold laner as well. Gold laner necessarily, like, they don't really do a lot as a marksman.
Right.
But for a Beatrix, like you said as well, is where if you shut down the Beatrix earlier, before the first engagement, no Nipuri's Passion, no Renner, nothing, you're not going to be able to dish out that wombo combo to actually finish off players in that team fight. So that's the reason why a lot of teams have to prioritize on the gold laner compared to XP lane.
And I think it's even more important for Tiger Wong to do so, seeing how efficient CY has been over MHRLK, right? And we saw that early rotation, both teams bring in those mid laners. I think at the end of the day, CY just feels so much more comfortable. You see him walk up challenging Saffril at one point as well. And I think a lot of this impact we might have to look at that XP lane, right? The fact that both XP laners have gotten a kill and a death so far. Grog hitting that level 4 early is not going to matter too much because Lapu Lapu was able to get a counter kill. So when that 4-minute rolls around, I think maybe those the XP laners would be the ones that bring in the initial impact.
Yeah, I guess that's going to be something they have to actually worry about as well, because now they are at a stage where they have to salvage the situation and replan how they want to take the first pre-4 fight. Are we going to play a little bit stalling here? But knowing MHRLK Esports, they tentatively want to secure that purple buff first before going for the fight, especially when Lancelot is just so good in early stage of the game, right? Before you go for tank slot, before the first item power spike, you are still dishing out damage as an assassin compared to the usual tank build playstyle. So first engagement is going to be very, very crucial for MHRLK to snowball their way through, because over time this Lancelot is going to be rendered kind of useless in terms of overall damage output. It's all about baiting spells, and this is where MHRLK Esports, they have to play around this Lancelot pickup instead of the XP lane for a Grok, which is, I think, arguably the most amount of damage, but at the same time, it's a one-hit wonder.
And then when we go to the late game, it's all down to CY, right? We all funnel towards that Beatrix eventually. I remember seeing something, I believe from the Philippines region, where, to bounce off the point and talking about the roam towards XP lane you brought up, we are seeing roaming mages to a certain degree. And I think that really emphasizes how important hitting that early 4 is in the XP lane. We are not seeing that in this game, but judging how we have that first 2 kills happen, I think we already have it established.
That's the thing about double majors composition, right? You are going to completely segment the control. You don't necessarily need to zone people. You just need to clear the minions fast enough and then directly rotate either or gold or XP lane. Like you said as well, pre-4 is going to be very important. Double majors, they need to get up those early kills to kind of build out the snowball. If that doesn't happen, it completely destroys the composition. And time again, we have teams seen to adapt this kind of playstyle. For me, very simple. Double mage composition is a high risk, high reward playstyle, and not many teams can actually adapt to the fallout of what if the first pre-4 or maybe even the second turtle engagements doesn't really work in their favor.
Yeah, I think having the farmers does almost the same thing, but it makes it safer, right? You have a farmers that can clear the way, but he also doesn't mind not having that mid lane control.
Yes.
At the end of the day, as long as he hits that 4, he sticks with the team, you are guaranteed kind of a second life in those team fights. This is something that MHRLK has planned through and throughout, and that's why we see that first pick farmers. They completely abandon, sack the thought of having that Martis, which is something that I find very surprising, considering that it has been their favorite pick.
Yeah, it's interesting enough as well, because I was expecting maybe, just maybe, that was going to happen. But without further ado, we are going to resolve this issue as we continue the game. But as we have MHRLK, despite the loss of the Grok up top, they are still in a slight lead with 200 gold. And Tiger WONG Esports already in position for this turtle fight. As you can see, Kelvin already in position to contest as well.
We're actually finally hitting that level 4. It's going to be Retribution going over to Tiger WONG, getting the turtle for himself. Kelvin just able to dodge all of the spell away with the dashes. Rexley dropping low, forced to pop that out to get away, but in the meantime, CY actually falls down bot thanks to a rotation from Rinse.
Yeah, this is what we were talking about, right? From Tiger WONG Esports, they're so smart in going for this kind of opportunities. And if you send any mage down towards a gold laner, pretty much if he is out of position, you are going to get killed. But at the same time, props towards Tiger WONG Esports taking advantage of the situation, right? Like, you know for a fact Freddy is extremely hard to kill. Rexy is also very difficult to kill. You've got 3 very beefy compositions where MHRLK didn't exactly full hit-on dive into the fight. They're not going to be able to get a kill here.
Definitely a blessing in disguise that Rexley hits that level 4, because that shouldn't have been the case. We see the gold crab stolen away by CY, Kelvin and Daizo sticking together more often. So far, you don't really have a solution for Rinse, right? Normally, you would want Kelvin to do the deed, but with Rinse getting the early kill, Google just walks into the jungle, and again with the Retribution, stealing away these camps, building up that lead. Tiger WONG basically getting control of that gold lane.
Oh, you can see the confidence coming from Tiger WONG Esports, right? They've got 3 very VP heroes. They're opening up the maps, and they know for a fact that MHRLK doesn't have kill threat potential except for Kelvin. And now, slowly but surely, Kelvin not having those Fury Hammers, not having those damage items, he's not going to be able to jeopardize a chip away at the tankiness coming from Tiger WONG Esports. But now, with the fight coming in,
Iron Hook, call Alter use. Completely broken, but they drag Rinse back, forcing the flicker out of the far side. End of the day, MHRLK still survives, which is a blessing in disguise.
this is what I'm talking about. MHRLK just doesn't have the kill threat to threaten Tiger WONG's esports composition as of yet. The only one with that kind of capabilities is pretty much the Divine Judgment setup into a snipe coming from CY. And as of yet, EX, he's gonna get hooked instead. And oh my goodness, mistakes were made.
That is though just so patient. I think MHRLK is dropping the ball a little bit. They did see the Franco early on, and that has been a death rush in favor of Tiger WONG. Now they will go on to the turtle. Not much contest. Rexy going in, trying to zone Kelvin away, and once more is Google Station winning the Retribution fight. Rexy even getting a kill, now taunt on to CJ. Tiger WONG looking for 2, and they will find it.
This is why it's so frustrating to play against their composition here. You've got a Farsa you gotta worry about. You've got a hook anywhere. And MHRLK, they can't seem to actually group up as far, considering how much pressure Tiger WONG Esports is pressuring the bottom lane. They need CY in this fight. And CY not being able to rotate into this fight is actually hurting MHRLK's overall damage output.
And you said early on that MHRLK needs to be snowballing. They need to be able to grab a lead. And so far that has not been the case. 3,000 goal advantage over to Tiger WONG Esports. I mean, Riz is having a fantastic time. And this Franco working out better than we expected. The amount of pressure that he's giving in that bottom side alone is giving Saffro so much more space. And with Rinse around, I don't think MHRLK wants to fight this. Calvin's gonna try, but this is finding no avenues.
Oh, you can see MHRLK, they're trying to make some sort of plays. They're finally grouping up, but Tiger Wong Esports, they know for a fact that they need 2 cores to actually kill any players. In this case, who are the cores coming from MHRLK? It's going to be the Faramis and the Beatrix. And the Grok is not going to be anywhere in this position in this fight because he's going to be on the other side of the map. But CY, as long as CY dies, they pretty much lose all damage output against the Faramis.
Looking for a dive, Tiger Wong, better airstrike, getting rid of NIX. And that is all they could afford, but it's good enough. Again, pressure on that bot side.
Again, Tiger Wong Esports so smart with all these pickoffs, and it's just so frustrating to deal with. And every single time they take a fight, they make sure they're not grouped up to allow this Faramis to do his own thing. But now, with nothing to do,
Kelvin locked down, dashed away. They even used the call Ulta to keep him alive. Tiger Wong very happy with the result. Saffron feels so much comfortable walking out forward. Conceal is used, instantly broken by Rinse. The presence of mind is there. Iron Hook almost connects to the NIX, but MHRLK has spent so much time down bot that they've lost all sort of control. They need the turtle, which means Saffron gets free lane.
Oh, this is smart from MHRLK. They just completely ignore a bomb inside, but at the same time, they prioritize turtle and also hoping to get a kill. However, bottom turret is pretty much gone from Tiger Wong Esports. Meanwhile, Beatrix is nowhere to be found in this fight, and the turtle is gone in the hands of MHRLK this time.
Kelvin steals it. I don't think Tiger Wong have enough to catch up, forcing the flicker out of CJ. So at least MHRLK gets something in return, but they need that ball in control. Saffron getting sniped from afar. NIX and Kelvin, they're both there. Saffron using their ultimate.
Oh my God.
He's just the man by Kelvin. Kelvin can beat him. And Danny Dorado locks down CY. Saffron grabs 1 kill, and Kelvin suddenly finds himself all alone in the mercy of Tiger Wong. This is a disaster for MHRLK. Kelvin should be able to get out of this. Gugun Seishiro coming in for the pincer. Not getting the knock-up at least, but Tiger Wong still walks away with 2.
Oh, it's so unfortunate coming from Kelvin, considering that things went the way it went, because this is where the landslot is going to fall out in terms of overall damage. And on top of it all, Saffron, he just got his DHS with his Inspire, allowing him to lifesteal his way around that fight. So it's just so unlucky. And once again, MHRLK has just in a situation where they need to group up, but Tiger Wong just choosing not to fight this at all every single time. And now with the hook coming in, oh my goodness.
NIX barely getting away. But Tiger Wong, they are very healthy to fight this with Gugun showing up. This guy got a very early Sky Garden helmet also. So I don't think MHRLK have enough damage to even chip through him. And Tiger Wong has so much control on this top side. Dali Dorado controlling that 1 brush means that if he gets this Iron Hook, it's going to be an instant execution. Call Alta, barely keeping CJ alive, but Saffron is going in. Not even needing the Inspire, already on a killing spree. And he is just having the time of his life, getting a double kill up top. Tiger Wong will get this tier 2.
Oh my goodness, again, where's the damage? Tiger Wong Esports with a 5k net worth lead, they're just gonna pop off. And as soon as I say this, 8 minutes in the game, Saffron, he just got his 3rd item, a golden staff, corruption sign, and DHS. Perfect dream game for this gold laner. And now with the blade armor as well as the lightning truncate up on Rins, MHRLK, they are in for some serious burst pain coming from Tiger Wong Esports. And this is quite troublesome as well, because if you see, based on items as well, they are just so lacking in overall in all this Z-fight. And this now, first Lord, gonna be in the hands of Tiger Wong. MHRLK, they're forcing a fight.
Again, another Iron Hook, now going for NIX and actually finds him. Can they at least steal the Lord away? Yes, they can! Kelvin saving his team for a while. Now they need to get out. Kelvin is the target, completely locked down. He is out of here, and Rexy continuing to zone out CY. Daiso pops the call Alta, but at least MHRLK gets the Lord.
Oh, they needed a way to cut their losses, and this is so smart of MHRLK Esports. Even though Tiger Wong Esports, they had the upper hand, Kelvin clutched it at the last moment. And this is going to buy them a little bit of breathing room. But for how long? Because now...
Daiso dragged back in, and Saffron is on a monster kill streak.
Oh my God.
Honestly, man, coming into this series, I did not expect Tiger Wong to come out the gate swinging with such a lead.
Oh my goodness, it's all about buying time. But in this case, with Dani Duduro's hooks, it's not happening anytime soon. Kelvin, he's trying his best to stall, but he's gonna get caught up.
A taunt onto Kelvin.
No,
Dani Durado almost predicting that one. Tiger Wong won't able to do too much damage, but even without the Lord, they still get to break the last tier 2s. Overall, MHRLK, yeah, they buy a bit of time, but now it's back to square one.
I guess this is the best situation coming from MHRLK, right? But let's take a look at the predictions so far. For those of you guys voting at home, 87% MHRLK Esports. But considering how this game is going, Tiger Wong has the biggest margin lead representing from Indonesia. And it is going to be scary, my friend.
And Kelvin, he just lost his purple buff as well.
No.
His retribution happened on point this entire game. With like, what, 13 to 1, another Iron Hook! And look at Saffril. He's not inspired just yet. I don't think he needs it though. Feather S right out. Daiso, he's gonna get caught by the stun on the edge of Rexley. And he is out of here. Tiger Wong finding another kill. Almost an 8,000 goal advantage, 11 minutes in.
Oh, you hate to see moments like this. MHRLK, they needed to set up a choke spot for that fight. Even with that, Tiger Wong Esports just understanding that they have the network lead. They know they have the damage output, and there's absolutely nothing that Faramis can do unless they're all separated. And so far, we haven't seen any of the Divine Judgment catches at all. And Tiger Wong, they will continue to take advantage of the Iron Hook. And that is exactly the game plan for Tiger Wong Esports. Pick them apart bit by bit, one by one, dissect them slowly but surely, eventually killing them is going to be the way to go for Tiger Wong Esports.
And Tiger Wong Esports have controlled the jungle so well. MHRLK can't even walk into their own jungle. Just now when we saw the net worth, Saffron is almost 3,000 gold ahead of CY, and he got his Winds of Nature. So if MHRLK wants to have any chance of taking out Saffron, I think it's going to be a tough call. Lord coming up in 10 seconds also, and MHRLK have no access to this side of the map.
Oh, they've learned their lesson. They're zoning off Kelvin. They know for a fact that Kelvin is going to try and steal this again, but this time, with a little bit of harassment coming from Saffril, no more Lord steals, and Tiger Wong feeling a little bit more comfortable considering that the lanes are shoved into the base of MHRLK. So most likely this is pretty much a guaranteed Lord enhanced Tiger Wong Esports, and that is going to be the case coming in for them.
Whew, the cleanest game we've seen so far from Tiger Wong. And
What?
And Kelvin just got completely sniped by Rins. They take the bot tier 1, but Tiger Wong, they're going to be able to grab an easy inhibitor as MHRLK struggles just trying to get that recall back. CY is going to be late to the party as well. Tiger Wong finding that initial crack in that MHRLK base.
My goodness, Dadi Dudedo's positioning has been spot on every single time. Every single time Kelvin tries to get a little bit angsty here, he is going to be there to zone him out. That's exactly what he's been doing. And so far, MHRLK making no attempt for the Divine Judgment plays at all to punish this. And this is quite worrisome. But with the Lord coming in, this might be it for MHRLK.
All the lanes are synchronized as well. Tiger Wong systematically working on the base. Mid inhibitor go down. Bottom is the last one to go. Tiger Wong looking for that final blow. Feather Airstrike started off. CY forced right back. Kelvin in the front line. But it's a tank lot, so it doesn't do much damage. Google Station with a big taunt. Tiger Wong now with Saffril still pumping on the damage. Finally shut down by CY as Frizz gets one back, but MHRLK might be able to hold on as Google take out Daiso. Kelvin in the back line still alive, but he has no damage. Trying to buy time, actually finds Rins, and MHRLK hold on.
Oh, this is exactly what they want the entirety of the game, but this time is not gonna happen. And finally, with a little bit of hope for MHRLK, they finally found an opportunity to do so. Because as of yet, Tiger Wong Esports, they understand that if they group up like this again, MHRLK is gonna get those kind of punishes. But as of yet, MHRLK, they are happy that they are still holding on. But the lead's still too far to actually continue here, because based on items here, you can see Tiger Wong Esports just so far ahead in terms of itemizations, whereas MHRLK Esports is just so far behind. They've only got 2 item power spikes on this Grok, and we need that big wall charge wombo combo to actually chunk through the armors of Tiger Wong Esports and allowing this V-Trix to completely shred through the tanks. But at what stage can they do that? Because as of yet, Tiger Wong still in a very big lead. Third Lord is going to be the most important one for MHRLK, and they need to be able to snipe it or get a couple of crucial kills. In this case, Saffron needs to go down once again if they want to win this fight.
At least MHRLK now knows that Tiger Wong, not invincible, right? We talked about them needing to get rid of Saffron when he was so far ahead, and they were able to do it. NIX finally committing to that Flicker Divine Judgment that you've been looking for. They need to do it again. Flicker coming back up, NIX will have another opportunity to save his team. But Tiger Wong, this time, are not going to be sticking together. You have Saffron in one lane, and Dadi Durido is going to be protecting him. any Iron Hook will result in a kill. But that one misses. Lord now has spawned.
Yeah, we've reached to a stage where they can't necessarily go for this dual combo pick-off compensation from Tiger Wong Esports. They need to force a 5-man fight, and that's exactly what MHRLK Esports is doing. But with the minions shoved up bottom as well, the Lord is going to be taken down from side of Tiger Wong Esports. They are going to try and bait this situation, but MHRLK, they're starting off with conceal plays.
Very important, Daddy Tupai though, with that ultimate instantly disintegrate thanks to CY. Google Station 4-man taunt! And Riz now goes to work. They've gotten rid of Saffron once more. MHRLK once more finding the right place, but this time they lost CY. Kelvin is the next one to put his name on the board. Rexley Canovan blocked up by the wall, and this is just a fantastic comeback for MHRLK. Google Station, the messenger of Tiger Wong, revives with the immortality only to go down once more. MHRLK holding on to this game.
Beautiful, beautiful catch coming from MHRLK Esports. A very, very desperate attempt, but it worked out in their favor. And once again, Tiger Wong Esports, they need to realize they cannot challenge a 5v5 fight, because that's exactly what MHRLK Esports wants. And now, with this play coming in, MHRLK, they finally got the Lord, and this is going to give them a little bit of hope to come back in this game. But speaking of comebacks, this is by far one of the biggest comebacks we've seen so far in SPS. With a 8k deficit, they're able to turn the tides, and now Tiger Wong Esports, they cannot afford to make any more mistakes. And as of yet, CY is taught of the net worth charge right after this engagement.
2 minutes earlier here. And in both fights, Saffron didn't even get his Inspire off, because MHRLK was able to grab him and really take advantage of the fact that he is pretty vulnerable without that flicker. Now they just gotta do it one more time. And Tiger Wong, whatever lead that they built up, that has slipped away. We are now on an even ground for both teams.
Yeah, they cannot afford to make more mistakes here. Tiger Wong, they've been doing so well in the early stage game. It's all about pickoffs, and now MHRLK finally getting that opportunity to group up. And that's exactly going to help them as well. But as you can see, they're just taunting Tiger Wong. But they know that they can see them, but the conceal plays once again. They're looking for the catch on Safril, but seems like they will give up.
Yeah, NIX just finally finding his own pressure on the map. Bottom inhibitor protected, top tier 2 lost to MHRLK. Silver lining for Tiger Wong, all the inhibitors are still standing. They can still mount that defense, but it does give way to CJ to push in that bottom lane again. Tiger Wong, gotta be really careful as Saffron gets sniped from afar. That's half of his health bar gone as well.
Oh, the big hook coming from Daddy Doodoo is what is going to save the day. In this case, he needs to catch on Daiso before he pops the Count Altar. In that case, it is going to be very, very difficult to do so. But as of yet, MHRLK, they will respect this. They will be satisfied with one inhibitor, but this time, they need to play this safe once again. Tiger Wong Esports needs to find an opportunity to go for this 1v1 pickoffs, whereas MHRLK, they need to group up as 5, but to what stage? Because as of yet, the biggest damage dealer is still going to be CJ and CY. CJ being the debuffer from the team, and CY being the finisher coming in from this composition. So in terms of overall damage, you can see Saffron is going to be top of the shot coming from Tiger Wong Esports, but Daiso keeping a fair chance of damage as well, even though Baron is arguably one of the most difficult to dish out damage. But if you're grouped up as 5, his first kill is going to spec a lot of damage, and that's exactly what MHRLK is hoping for against Tiger Wong Esports.
Yeah, Tiger Wong needs to be very, very cautious. You can't let Saffron get caught like that again. And the fact that this Kaja now has an immortality, diving to the backline is merely an option for MHRLK. They are not worried at all. Losing NIX, they have so many ways to do so. And I think Tiger Wong's esports, their time, slowly running out. This last Lord will decide everything for them.
Oh boy, Gugun now gonna be baiting out a little bit more. MHRLK, they haven't had any information where Saffron is. Lord is gonna be on the bottom side in control of Tiger Wong Esports, but top side there is a lane shoved up by Kelvin, potentially looking for the backdoor potential. But seems like it's not gonna be the case. Tiger Wong Esports, they are gonna quickly start things off with the Lord. Conceal gonna be ready for now, and it is gonna happen.
And MHRLK looking for that final blow. Gugun able to get out with the dash. They do stop the Lord attempt from Tiger Wong Esports. The dance now begins. Daddy Duedo missing the Iron Hook. A bit more room for MHRLK. Kelvin, he is confident enough to stand in front of Tiger Wong.
It's all about the waiting game. Tiger Wong Esports, they know they have the inhibitor advantage, so they don't really need to clear the lanes. All they gotta do is just wait out the lanes and hope MHRLK goes back for the defense. And as of yet, They're still waiting for the right moment. Half HP on the Lord. And MHRLK, they don't really want to give up too much of the Lord control, but they eventually have to just because of the minute shoving in. But little they know, they are sending up CY up top. As soon as CY shows his face up top, Tiger Wong is going to immediately dive in this fight, but seems like the recall comes in. It's got to be a close match.
And they need CY. The Lord still aggro. Kelvin making sure it doesn't reset. Tiger Wong ready to pounce. The Lord dropping incredibly low. The Iron Hook misses. This is an opening for MHRLK. Rexy straight to the back line. Gets a stun on CY. They've broken the battle lines on MHRLK, but the Lord still very low. Kelvin's doing the fight. Can Kelvin get it? No, he does not. Gugun gets the Lord, but MHRLK finds 2 kills. Rins and Rexley both are gone. Saffro is still standing for Tiger Wong though. They still have that gold laner alive and they have the Lord in their favor.
Oh, what a risky gamble coming from Tiger Wong Esports. You see Rexley was almost able to threaten CY all by himself, but the rest of MHRLK, they had to pick their poison. Protect CY or lose the Lord. In this case, they lost the Lord and protected CY. And that's going to be a difficult one because as of yet, they have the numbers of advantage. 21 minutes in the game means on the sidelines, minimum of 40 seconds. This is going to be the potential come around. But do they have the minutes here? Because as of yet, Tiger Wong Esports, they do have the wave period to challenge this. And they are going to try and throw bodies for this defense.
MHRLK will get them an inhibitor, no problem. And they're not gonna push it too far. They have a base to defend. But we're getting to a stage where all teams will have a bare base. And Tiger Wong, they only have that top inhibitor standing, and that one isn't healthy either. First match of the day, Terrence. We get 22 minutes in, 4th Lord inbound, and no end in sight. MHRLK in the lead this time.
Oh, it's going to be so very, very close as well. Everyone from Tiger Wong is pretty much max items as well. A little bit of graphic interface issues right there, but it's all good because right now we've come to the stage where items don't really matter. It all comes down to those immortalities, those winter trunking swaps coming from both sides. And so far, from the side of Tiger Wong Esports, they do have those immortalities, but it's all being chipped away. And MHRLK again waiting for the right moment to strike. And Tiger Wong Esports, they can't necessarily dive the back lines like this. The idea of Rexy zoning the back lines is smart, but the Franco can't necessarily do what it's needed to do. Whereas NIX has so much more coming from MHRLK to threaten the backlines with those divine judgments. So as of yet, it is going to be a little bit difficult for Tiger Wong Esports to do exactly what MHRLK is doing. And MHRLK is just a little bit safer now, especially now with those late game, end game scenarios where everyone's just full items. So they do have more room to work with a very, very simple, clear direction. Cut the backlines, pull one, get a kill.
And we also reached a stage where the call altar brings so much value to MHRLK. And in these long fights, I don't think Tiger Wong can outlast MHRLK. Just look at the jungle matchup, right? You have Kelvin on this Lancelot. He's always going to be able to dish out more damage in the long run. Tiger Wong playing the guessing game right now. They're expecting MHRLK to shove their top wave, but MHRLK, they're all at the bottom side of the map. So Tiger Wong guessing wrong means that they gave away control of the Lord.
Yeah, it's all about those rat strategies, and MHRLK is looking to potentially do that. Likewise can be said for Tiger Wong Esports. But I like how both teams just playing this extremely slow, extremely patient as well. 23 minutes again, the Luminous Lord even difficult to kill here. 67,000 HP. But at this stage of the game, it is going to be a long while. It all comes down to a potential fight where Tiger Wong needs to get a clear kill before they actually dive the Lord. And as you can see, they're making an attempt with Daddy Duedo, getting a lot of control, but they don't see any movements coming from MHRLK. But the concealed plays coming from MHRLK. Look at this. Behind, NIX.
Saffro, okay, be careful. They're going to cancel the attempt on the Lord. Gugun already chipped out so low. Rexley once more to the back line. And now this is where Saffro needs to go huge. The wall charge stops him. Saffro needs to attack. The Inspire damage coming right through. Daddy Duedo will lose their immortality. But look at MHRLK. They are also healthy. They just got rinsed. 1 minute in the grave for this Farsa. Rexley and Gugun, they're not healthy. Daddy Duedo as well. Only Saffro is full health, but his teammates cannot help him. And MHRLK, they might as well have secured this Lord.
Oh, what a clutch play coming from Daiso as well. They knew for a fact that Gugun is trying to set up for the Appraiser's wrap. As soon as he makes the play, boom, drops the counter altar, saves and negates most of the damage. And as of yet, Tiger Wong, they have no choice but to force the fight. And the Lord, whoa, it be in the hands of MHRLK, and they play it safe.
For the Iron Hook onto NIS, can they get him out? Yes, they can. Saffro getting the job done. And now Rexy back in the fight with that ultimate. Kelvin trying to keep his team alive and able to get everyone out. Lord in favor of MHRLK. Tiger Wong now needs to defend their base.
Oh, what a risky play coming from Tiger Wong Esports, but still, MHRLK, I was expecting them to go completely ham on Tiger Wong Esports, but considering that they don't really have the secondary count altar for that fight, they just played it extremely safe. So Tiger Wong, beautiful defense for now. It is going to be another stalemate, but slowly but surely, this Lord, even more difficult to play against, as you can see how long it takes for Tiger Wong Esports to even clear the Lord, if you think about it.
This is what? Lord number 6 of the game? Or the next one? I think it's the 6th one?
It is the 6th one.
Yeah, the 6th Lord. Goodness me. We have come a long, long way in this game. 26 minutes. And we still haven't seen the end. This is quality. This is definitely worthy of a lower bracket. And of all teams, you know, to have MHRLK against Tiger Wong and we get a game like this to kick off the evening, it is impressive to say the least. But Saffril, again, we need to see more of him. Kelvin playing a dangerous game. The rest of MHLK are around. They use the conceal as well. Tiger Wong, they are split up. Daddy Duedo, you gotta keep Saffril alive. They found him. Saffril dragged back by NAX. Right into the jaws of MHRLK. He comes back second life. He is popped, and MHRLK looking to complete one of the most amazing comebacks we've seen in Mobile Legends. Bang Bang, and I think they have just done it. Riz completely zoned up by Kelvin, tries to fly away, the rest of his team cannot help him. MHRLK with 3 kills and are ready to storm the base.
Oh, well done coming from MHRLK Esports here. Patience finally pays off, but at this stage of the game, with 50 seconds on the sidelines for Gugun as well as Saffril, MHRLK is pretty much it, but at the same time, Riz doing his job here with Feather Airstrike, clears the minutes, drops Kelvin low enough, and they don't have the range to defend. They don't have the range to attack the base, and see why. Being the only range damage dealer to poke at the turret, MHRLK, they can't even jeopardize this at all, and it is going to be the reset once again from Tiger Wong Esports.
No minion wave for MHRLK to continue the push, and that means that we are looking at the 6th Lord fight.
Oh my
to potentially
God.
conclude this game. And every time we get to that juncture, Terrence, we get the reset again. Everyone is max items. That has been the reality a couple minutes ago. 28 minutes in. The longest game we had so far, I believe.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the longest as well, as Tiger Wong Esports gave away one of the hugest lead. And currently, MHRLK, biggest full swing with 10k lead, but at this stage of the game, it's all about those swaps. It's all about those rock potions, power potions that turns the tide of view. In this case, Tiger Wong Esports, they have been swapping items here, guaranteeing for this immortality. And this time, this Lord is going to be 78,000 HP. It's even thicker than before, and whoever gets it is going to have the biggest lead of their life. And as again, MHRLK already in position to contest this. The minions waves are shoved off 50-50s. Tiger Wong, they need to threaten this to a stalemate for the minions to help them. And as of yet, down to the final 3 bars. Gugun in a very awkward position to fight this. They are looking for this conceal plays, and pay attention to Dundee do. Looking for this hook. Who's he gotta be? He's gotta hook Kelvin, but it's gonna be tough.
They're keeping the Lord aggro. Saffron needs to be careful. He has no immortality, and there's Flicker on NAX, and Rexley, the first one to get dragged back. Suppress one spawn with the Trunking to buy time. Coming to the back line, Saffron needs to go big. Another wall charge from CJ. He has found Saffron, and the swing of the totem is all that he needs. MHRLK, with absolute patience in this game 1, have definitely found that window to come right back. No one from Tiger Wong is able to stop them. Daddy Duedo is the 4th to go, and CJ slams that godlike streak in his face. MHRLK have gotten this in the bag.
What a clutch coming from CJ as soon as they grouped up 4-man wall charge with the amount of damage on this Grok. Tiger Wong just couldn't sustain it at all. And this is exactly what they needed to make a comeback. And just like that, MHRLK, they're closing up the base. Gugun is there. It's over. It's going to be done. And MHRLK pulls one of the biggest comeback in the history of SPS. And this is going to be game 1 potentially, but it is not over yet. But yes, it is going to be game, and Tiger Wong can do absolutely nothing about this.
Game that will leave you absolutely speechless by the end of it. 28 minutes, 6 Lords, and one of the most amazing comebacks ever witnessed in the Mobile Legends history. And we get to witness it. We get to commentate this in this lower bracket round 4. MHRLK, the favorites, but definitely We didn't expect it to pan out this way. Definitely not a comeback against a team like Tiger Wong.
My goodness, the amount of damage that's going to be dishing out in this game, and MHRLK just coming out on top